Hi, boys and girls. I want to do a read aloud with you today called We Celebrate Earth Day in Spring. Today is Thursday, April 21st, and it is Earth Day. And we think of ways during Earth Day to be kind to the earth. And we will certainly spend some time next week continuing to talk about Earth Day. But I wanted to just give you a little bit of information. Let's build our schema a little bit before we start to do more projects and things with this. So we celebrate Earth Day in spring. The author is Jenna Lee Gleisner. I'm noticing that this is an informational book. So I want to think about, I know we're talking about informational books in our writing. I want to pay attention to how this writer, this author, gives me facts and information about Earth Day. One of the things I'm noticing is that I have a table of contents. Remember, the table of contents job is to tell me on what page does each section of the book start. Sometimes we only want to learn about certain sections or learn certain information. Like, for instance, if I only wanted to learn about celebrations that we do during Earth Day, then I may only read that section that says celebrate, and I would know then that I had to go to page 11 to find that. Today we're going to read this whole book. But a lot of times you will not read a whole informational book. You'll only be looking for certain parts. Okay. I'm noticing right away that I have a heading here. Remember, a heading in a nonfiction book, it tells you what you're going to be learning about. Okay, so let's keep reading. Okay. Spring is here. It gets warmer. Plants and trees grow. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Miss Blanca's just learning how to use all this stuff down here. So we'll have to see how it goes. Okay. Now, this has a lot of writing on it, boys and girls. I am going to say that you want to start with the heading because the heading I see here is Earth Day. So now I know that we're getting into the information about Earth Day and I'm going to learn some new facts. So I want to read the heading and then I want to read the text in the middle of the page. We have a special day to help our Earth. This day is called Earth Day. I can't skip the parts over here, friends. Make sure that you go back and you read. This is a caption. It's telling what goes on or mentioning facts and information about the picture. Here it says, what do you see? What objects go in the recycling bin? And I can see here, I'm thinking to myself, they're putting plastic bottles in the recycling bin so that they don't end up as litter or in the ocean. So that's just being responsible. Okay. All right. Earth Day is April 22nd. Oh, well, Miss Belanca asked Alexa, and she said April 21st. So we'll have to figure that out. That's interesting. So now I'm finding a piece of information that is it's a little conflicting with what I heard before. So now I'm going to have to do a little more digging to find out, is Alexa right or is this book right? I'm going to maybe guess that the book is right, but we'll have to figure that out. People work together to help our planet. So now I have to stop. That's the meaning behind Earth Day. It's to be kind and figure out ways to be kind to this planet that we have. All right, so now I have another heading. Okay, remember the heading is celebrate. So I'm going to learn. I'm going to circle that heading. I'm going to learn all about how do we celebrate Earth Day. That's a sentence or that's a question. Remember, we're thinking about questions in our reading. I have that question. What do we do to celebrate this holiday? Let's find out. We celebrate Earth Day many ways. One way is to learn about the Earth. Oh, okay, I'm going to put that in my head. One way, I can do some information digging about the Earth, which is what we're doing right now. I'm also noticing my bold word. Remember, a bold word is a word that is darker or highlighted, and the author is giving you the message that notice this word, tuck it in your brain, think about whether you know it. If you don't know it, go to the back and look at the glossary. We'll get there. I'll show you that when we're in the back. All right, let's read on. Lee's class learns about keeping Earth clean. People need clean air and water. Animals do too. I'm going to go now. Don't skip this page. What do you see? Where is Lee's class learning? Oh, they're learning outside under a tree. which makes sense because we're kind of giving thanks to the earth. So being outside is always a good spot to do that. A new heading. So if I go back, let's go back for a minute. If I go back and say, okay, the heading was celebrate. What are the ways that this book taught me to celebrate? I'm talking to myself. This is readers talking and thinking to themselves. Well, one way was that we learn about the earth. Okay? The other way is that we learn about how do we keep the earth clean, okay? And why is it important? So I should be able to answer and tell those and talk about that heading after I've read that part in this nonfiction book. All right, now we have another heading, time for earth. Cole plants a tree. Trees give off oxygen. Ooh, another bold word. I know what oxygen is. It's a big word for air. We need this to breathe. Nora picks up litter. Oh, that's a good one. I know litter. If I didn't, you flip to the back and go to the glossary. The glossary would tell you that litter is garbage. It's another word for garbage, but it's not in a garbage can or recycling. It's on the floor, which it should not be. This helps keep our earth clean. Eli's class reuses paper. Reusing makes less waste. It says, what do you see? What kind of paper does Eli's class reuse? I see that I have in my schema, that's what newspapers look like. So they must do projects with reusing newspaper, which is always fun. People like to take time to help our earth. How do you celebrate Earth Day? What are some of the things that you might do? Okay. All right, and here's our glossary, friends, as we're looking at this. Those are the words like celebrate and litter, oxygen, reuse, and if I needed to, I could read this definition. A definition tells you what a word is about, okay? Or a word is, I should say, if I wasn't quite sure. So boys and girls, let's go back for a minute, and I want to go back to this time for Earth section. And I want to think about, what did it talk about here? Okay. What are we making time for Earth for? Well, one of the things that's important is that we're being kind to the earth by planting trees. So that might be a way that we can spend time helping the earth. Another thing we can do with our time is we can pick up litter. That's another thing. So I should be able to list those things and talk about those things because I want to make sure that I'm getting the information from this nonfiction book that I am. Okay. All right, friends, I think we did a great job. We will continue to talk about Earth Day, but I wanted to just share a beginning book with you before we do some more projects so that we can have a little bit of schema. All right, have a good day.